Yep. Who's getting the axe on a Saturday night? The showdown between the T-Birds and the Trailblazers. Let's go. Let's go. Max Christensen III, who's our insider, our buddy, friend of the show, been with us all season long, every Thursday morning, talking Trailblazer football. Good morning, Max.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
I kind of felt like we started to get a little bit of, I wouldn't say emotional, but we started to kind of put things in perspective as you're closing in on playing your final ever college football game, maybe your final ever padded football game. I don't think you're putting pads on at the Thanksgiving turkey trot. And here it is, Saturday night.
Yeah, this is it, man. I mean, this is the last one. It's finally here. I mean, we talked about it a little bit throughout this whole season, right? And kind of just now it's crazy that we finally reached this point after 10 games. I mean, and this is crazy. I've been doing this for 2 years with you guys now, being on every single Thursday during the season, doing this with you guys. So I just got to say first, you guys do an amazing show. You guys put out an amazing product, and thank you so much for having me on each and every Thursday, being an insider, just providing you guys with some insight on what happens inside the locker room, on the field, things like that. Super grateful for you guys for giving me this type of opportunity, and this is one of the things I'm going to miss about being a player. Yeah, sure, I'll be able to be on the radio and give analysis and things like that, but being able to sit down with you guys every Thursday, that's part of the stuff I'm going to miss as a Trailblazer.
Well, and they're going to miss having you because you're a great ambassador for the team, and you always put things in perspective, and you never give anybody any ammunition. We're going to try to get SUU to get some ammunition here because we started, I don't know if you're listening on the way over as you're driving over to the studio, but Paulie tried to poke the bear this morning and said that this is not a rivalry between Utah Tech and SUU, and I said, it's an instant rivalry. Yeah. And we've got it on a Twitter poll, so I just retweeted that. Connor put it out, and go vote. But from a player's perspective, what are your thoughts on where this rivalry is or isn't? I guess I'll pose the question like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a rivalry, right? Because just because of the geographical nature of the game, this is a rivalry, right? This is new Division I football in Southern Utah. The craziest part is in the first year of the rivalry, we got to play each other twice, and we split it, right? They beat us handily up there. We beat them handily down here last year to finish the year, and there's really good players on both sides. Programs that are continuing to try and grow and develop with new coaching staffs, with new styles, and implementing different things as we grow in this new, WAC, UAC, whatever you want to call it, era, as both schools continue to kind of transition that way, and hopefully, try and transition to that 11th Division I FBS conference in the, what I think is the very far future, but we'll kind of see how that goes. This is definitely a rivalry, and both schools are again, trying new things, doing a lot of good stuff, playing some good football. And so, I think, in my opinion, having played in it, it is a rivalry, even though it is so new.
Yeah. Yeah, we need longevity. We need it to be, SUU's 110 and Utah Tech's 110. And, you look down the road 20 years from now and both teams are going 8-2 in the regular season and they're meeting at the end of the season, then it becomes a little bit bigger. I get that point. I think that's the point Paulie's trying to make. There's not a longevity there. It's a 2-8 versus a 5-5 team. Yeah. So we're not going for a bowl berth here in this one, and that large berth. And for Utah Tech, can't even go to the playoffs, which sucks. I hate that rule. Hopefully the James Madison Dukies have a little more clout around the NCAA than Utah Tech does, because I know we've tried to get that waived or shortened and unsuccessfully. And now you see James Madison, who I think does deserve to play in a bowl game.
They applied for a waiver. Jacksonville State applied for a waiver, and Tarleton State applied for a waiver.
Yeah, well,
and
we
all
did too.
three were unsuccessful.
I know.
All three were denied.
I know. When are we going to stop caring what the hell the NCAA thinks or says anyway?
When they stop having power.
Yeah, which I think is coming. I mean, I think we are trending that way to the point where, at least the Power 5 schools are going to bounce.
I think they lost me when they didn't put any kind of regulations on NIL, and it just became the Wild West. Yeah. It's like, okay, you can stop a school who's ready to win games at the next level, but you can let the rich get richer and the poor get poor. That's the problem I have with the NIL, and I've said it from day one, is it needs to be some kind of maximum, and then it needs to be like a Robin Hood type of a scenario. So I'm not saying Caleb Williams shouldn't get more than any other player on USC or any other player in the country. I just don't think he should get it all. I think all those guys that block for him should get a chunk of that. And that's not the case, right? No. That's just not the case. So That's where
Stars are stars,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and the teams that have the big pockets and the big boosters. They're going to keep getting the big 4 or 5 star recruits, and you're going to see the power shift stay like this, imbalance, And then the problem it proposes, and I don't want to get off on a tangent on this, is it's like we had last year. We had a max exit. All the best players that came in and shined, set school records, did some big things like the Joey Hoberts and the Justin Kirklands and the Tyrell Graysons. They're gone. And you do a great job, and you find these diamonds in the rough, and you get them in here, and then you give them an opportunity, and then they get it $50,000 in NIL money, and they gone. And I can't blame them.
No.
I can't blame them.
No, you can't.
So, that's another topic for
Thing I wanted to ask Max about on a different note, a lot of these players that do leave and the players that stay, everybody, the Trailblazers have faced 15 top 25 teams and 9 total FCS playoff teams in the last 37 games. Max, it's safe to say you've played a high level of competition throughout your career. I know it's tough. You've lost a lot of those games, but you guys have not been afraid to take on anybody, and that there's something in that, I think.
Yeah, like it has been a definite baptism by fire, to say the least, for this program in the last 3 years. Like we joined Division I, and the first full season that the first season I was here, the first full season Division I, that fall of 2021, we go 1-10, and I think we played 8 or 9
ranked
teams in the top 25. And the funny part is I looked at our schedule from 2021, and you go look at this. We had the toughest schedule in the country.
I know. I was on the broadcast
in 2021,
I was in the booth,
man.
and I was living and dying with every
Dude,
play.
I'm like our first ever season Division I, the combined win percentage of the teams we played was 67%.
Yep.
I mean, and I think we played 4 of the top 10 teams in the country that year.
And it was the same way back in 2006 when we made the jump to Division II. I mean, there was years there where I would go down and see Coach Brumfield and Coach Hahn and those coaches and they were in the washroom watching all the guys' jerseys. Like at least Coach Peterson's not washing your jersey
for
right
sure.
now.
Yeah.
Like we've come a way.
We've come a long ways. The facilities are amazing. The people around the program are amazing. The how it's growing is crazy. Like I mean, like I said, we were down in Abilene Christensen a couple weeks ago. They had all these stats about the different schools. They're at a little less than 5,000 students. We're over 12,000. I mean, we are so big when it comes to our enrollment, the things that are happening in St. George. We're growing at a unnaturally good rate, in my opinion, and things are going well from that standpoint. Again, it's like we talked about a couple weeks ago. We got to just freaking finish games. Like in 2021, and like I said, I will say this: it's been really fun to play these different teams.
Yeah.
Right. To play the South Dakota States, to play the Montana States, to play the Montana, because it's cool to be able to see. Okay, as a brand new startup Division I, playing the teams that are competing for national championships year in and year out, right? This is where we want to be, right? Like, and we got to see the measuring stick real early in these first 3 seasons. So it has been fun from that standpoint, but again, it also has been frustrating when we do play, in conference competition and we play close games, we haven't been able to win really any of those. And so that's where it's frustrating from the standpoint of when we're not playing the top teams in the nation and we play a good brand of football, we're just still not able to finish and get over that hump. And I'm saying I hope that I'm still in St. George when this program is able to start winning those games, get over the hump, be over 500, compete for a conference championship, compete for a chance to go to the playoff, because I think that's going to be a really cool experience for everyone in Southern Utah, not just in St. George, because you saw what happened when, again, James Cowser, our defensive line coach, was on a team at SUU.
That's what I want to know what Cowser's take on this game is, man. He's got to be like feeling like his body's split down the middle, almost like a mom has 2 sons playing in this rivalry game or something.
Yeah,
because he's kind of an icon up there in Cedar City.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. This dude is, to this day, he's the all-time sack leader and TFL leader in FCS history.
Yeah.
Not just in SUU history. At our level FCS history, he's the all-time leader in those 2 categories. Right. So he did some really good things and was on some really, really good teams up there in Cedar City. But the funny part is too, he's completely bought into being a Trailblazer right now, because it's almost like he has more pride, because he's putting a group out there to play instead of just him as an individual. And so he's really excited about being able to coach against his alma mater on Saturday. But you saw what happened when those guys were producing really good teams and putting guys in the NFL, and the kind of energy that was around those kind of teams. Because I remember his senior year that was my senior year of high school, and I saw those SU teams, compete against Utah State and do these different things, early in the season, and then make a good run
And put guys in the league. They put LaShawn Sims in the league. They put Cowser in the league. They put Killebrew in the league. They put Brad Sorensen in the league with the Chargers. Like, there was a run there where Braxton Jones recently got drafted by the Bears. They put some dudes in the NFL recently.
Yes, and so they've done a good job of developing not only good teams but individual talent to be able to take them to the next level as well. So you see the excitement that's around when those kind of things can happen with an FCS program down here in Southern Utah. We want to try and replicate that and get to where those old SU teams were, and it's fun to be able to develop that kind of standpoint inside this rivalry as well.
When Coach Peterson says, we hate those guys up north, and doesn't call them by name, and says we hate those guys, I feel like Coach is kind of just joking and trying to build to the rivalry. But when he says that, is that fueling the fire a little bit? And then you got Delane Fitzgerald completely taking the other side of the equation, saying, I'll never forget the first time he came on our show. He just got hired, and I asked him, what do you think about the budding rivalry that's going to be starting to happen with Utah Tech and SU? He's like, Devin, it's not a rivalry. Both teams won one game last year. How's that a rivalry? So, we got two coaches on opposite end of the spectrums approaching this game in completely different ways. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Coach Peterson's a fiery guy, right? And he's always going to be fiery and try and motivate us and try and stoke the fire to give us more motivation to go out there and play, because we got to kind of back up what he says. But part of what he says might be true, because the funny part, I didn't know this till the other day. He was there. Yeah, he was the quarterback's coach.
He got his start there after he was at Snow.
Yes, he was the quarterback's coach there when Cowser was playing. And so he was on the coaching staff when Cowser played there. And so yeah, maybe there is a little bit of animosity there from.
But Coach would say the same thing about Sac State when he played them. Yeah, we don't like any coach there. It was
absolutely.
the OC. So
yes,
where you're at's where your passion and where your loyalties lie. So I understand that. It's gonna be fun Saturday.
Yeah, it will be.
It's gonna be chippy in there. It's gonna be some smack talk in the trenches, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What game has there been the most smack talk in the trenches in a game this year? What was it? Montana State, or those quietly go about their business? It depends on personalities of the linemen you're facing, right?
Yeah, it's funny because.
Don't tell me that everybody's been polite all year.
Most of the guys I line up against, dude,
that's not good for sports talk radio.
I know it's not, but I'll be honest. The best games is when you're
you're too nice. You need to start talking more smack.
When you're joking back, when you're busting the other guy's butt across from you, and you guys are going, in between the whistle, you guys are just absolutely mauling each other. But then afterwards, you're kind of just giggling and laughing, and making jokes and things like that. Because it's funny, because I'm the old guy, right? The funny part is every time I step on the field, the first question I've got asked all year, dude, how old are you? Dude, what are you still doing out here? Bro, what's up? And
you're only 25, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
it's not like you're a grandpa.
That's the problem.
But I'm just curious why they don't start making cane jokes or
right. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You need some icy hot.
Rocking chair. Whatever.
Yeah.
Where's the Rocky chair joke?
They're not making those one towards Max when they're pushing them 5 yards back in the quarterback's lap.
That's right.
Well, that's the funny part is that I'm going to get the old jokes when I'm lined up against guys who are 18, 19, 20 years old, right? That's the funniest part is against Montana. Their left tackle was also 25. Okay, so he hit the first snap of the game. He comes out, he's whispering, bro, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 25. He's like, I'm 25 too. We just got a couple old dudes out here playing. So him and I are kind of talking about that the whole entire game, because I rarely line up against somebody who's my same age, right? Because mine was, serving a mission and COVID and all this other stuff. That's the whole reason I'm still playing. So rarely do you see guys who are still my age. But yeah, so yeah, the most smack talk was probably
Max out there
Stephen
making
F. Austin.
friends for life.
I mean, I'd probably say Stephen F. Austin. The first conference game was probably the most smack talk in the trenches. But yeah, really, it's just been a lot of mutual respect coming both ways against at least the guys I'm lining up against.
I kind of like that, and I think that happens on some games on Sundays too. I think that there's a lot of mutual respect when you get to the NFL. I still think there's plenty of smack talking going on too.
This is a fair question though, Max. Let's say if we're asking you, and we've heard that it's not too bad. Now let's say if we ask Ty Hyde, is it probably a little worse with the smack talk in the trenches?
That's got to be completely because Ty Hyde is the biggest instigator when it comes to getting after guys, because part of his whole game is, hey, I'm going to beat you mentally with how I'm going to talk to you, and then I'm going to try and mow you over physically as well. It's funny because a lot of, I remember being in the Colorado State game, right? I'm bull rushing the center and trying to slip off and get a sack and things like that, and they threw an incomplete pass. I'm walking back to the line of scrimmage, and I hear the center behind, dude, that was a freaking good bull rush. I'm like, hey, thanks, man, appreciate it. It's a lot more of that than it is, hey, FU 48, you piece of, because I'm not a dirty player either, right? I'm going to play you straight up. If I'm walking by you and you're on the ground, I'll help you up. If you extend a hand to me to help you up, I'll pick you up, right? And there's a lot of times too where guys want to dump each other over the piles and stuff and try and blow each other's knees out. A lot of times if a dude ends up getting rolled up on a pile, I'll just pick him right back up because I want everybody to be able to walk off under their own power, and I want to play against the best guys.
Yeah.
Right. So like when a starter gets hurt,
but not everybody's as smart as you and
absolutely.
as classy as you. But it sounds like the conference has got a lot of sportsmanship going on.
Yes, yes.
And you look at the scores this year, a lot of close games, a lot of overtime games, a lot of one-possession games where it comes down to the final drive, win or lose.
Yeah.
Which is good in this brand-new merged UAC conference. It's Utah Tech hosting Southern Utah in the battle for the axe. I call it the feud on 15. You can call it whatever rivalry game you want. Saturday's installment will only be the 5th NCAA meeting ever between these two longtime junior college rivals. They split the 2 games last year. Thunderbirds winning in Cedar, Utah Tech winning in St. George. And it was 48-36 that second meeting in St. George. It was 31-17, if I'm not mistaken, up in Cedar City. So they were really both close games.
Yes. Yeah. And both teams felt like we played well in both games, right? I mean, again, SU came down here, dropped 36 on us, and still lost by double digits, right? We go up there, have a chance to tie it in the fourth quarter, and don't get it done, and end up losing by double digits up there. So yeah, it was crazy how it was kind of flipped the 2 games because both teams play well at home. Both teams, last year we were able to both do some good things. So we feel like it's still a pretty even keel. And again, when there's a rivalry, when there's a lot of familiarity, because this is going to be the team we played the most in the Division I era, you got to throw records out the window. I know personally a couple of dudes I'm going to be lined up across against. They know me, right? I played with Justin Miller, the quarterback of SU at Snow College, right? Him and I still talk sometimes. Me and a couple of the offensive linemen, talk throughout the season, say, hey, how's your season going? How you guys doing? Of course, we haven't talked at all this week, but there's just so much familiarity there that you kind of got to throw it out the window.
This week it's game face.
Yeah.
Game face. You'll talk after the game.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm curious, the defense, 5 sacks against Austin Peay last week.
Yeah.
Now if you can get 5 sacks on Justin Miller, that's going to be a big key.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Just being able to, because, SU wants to establish the run. They want to get downhill. They want to do some good things. So, but Justin is I think he's the all-time leader in completions, the all-time leader in passing yards, I want to say, at SU now. I mean, he's played a lot of ball for them and a lot of good football for them. So if we're able to get after them when they decide to throw the football and try and really limit them in the run game, we can do some good things. But yeah, potential defensive player of the year, Cyrus Webster is playing awesome. Brandy Okeke was able to get some good pressure as well. John Sniffen got his first start last week and was able to get a sack.
Tell me about Monday, because you were limited in practice, so he got some reps. You guys were rotating reps. I heard Monday Coach Peterson gave him a scholarship. He was a portal kid that kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Yes.
And had to come as a walk-on. And Coach P just gave him a scholarship, I heard.
Yes, he did.
Did you do that in front of the team? Was that pretty cool?
It was awesome. In our team meeting, because he's a transfer kid from Fresno State. And I think we found him because his D-line coach at Fresno State was a guy who Cowser played for in the NFL.
Okay.
And so there's kind of a connection there. Got John. He's been awesome for us this year, adding some depth on the inside. As defensive tackle, I like to have guys behind me who we can trust to come in and play. And so, he did it in our team meeting on Monday in front of everybody. We all celebrated. It was a great time for John, so really, really happy for him.
That's cool. That's cool. I like seeing that. I got a lot of respect for guys that can come on, take a risk, and earn a scholarship back.
Yeah.
He was probably on scholarship at Fresno, decided to go in the portal, then has to play without a scholarship for a year. That's never easy.
No.
Yeah. Max Christensen III. Man, gonna play your final game. There's some seniors like Justin Miller that playing their final game. Obviously Ricky Johnson. I've really enjoyed watching Ricky out there. We don't have a lot of seniors. What is there, 8 or 10, 12 seniors on this Utah? I haven't counted them this morning, but there's not very many of you guys playing your final game. It's a young team.
Yes. And then there's I think we're having like 20 seniors walk tomorrow.
But some still have
eligibility. Most of those guys. So like on defense, like we were in our defensive meeting on Monday, and Coach Hunter, the co-defense coordinator, he's like, you stand up if you are a true senior with no eligibility left. There was 2 dudes in the room who stood up. Me and Dondi Fuller. That was it, right? Everybody else, because we're going to have more seniors walk tomorrow, but they still have at least 1 to 2 to 3 years of eligibility left because they've redshirted, COVID, things like that.
Yeah.
And so this team still has a ton of room for growth. This team's still very young. Again, me and Dondi are the only seniors who are starting on defense. Everybody else, unless they transfer, is coming back.
Yeah.
So a lot of young guys playing a lot of crucial snaps this season, and so there's still a lot of potential there. So that'll be fun to watch.
Yep, gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Gonna give you a chance to win some tickets right now. Let's light up the phone lines. 435-990-9950. 435-990-9950. Let's just take 2 winners. Let's give out 2 pair here. We got a couple pair right now. Now on the tickets that I got, they say 7 o'clock. But they moved the game up to 5 o'clock. Just make that note. The ticket is wrong. I'm not sure exactly why they moved that game up 2 hours earlier. Did you ever get
I have no idea.
I didn't get an explanation on that, but who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever. Let's play this game.
Yep.
Doesn't make a big difference to most people unless you got a soccer game that starts at 4 o'clock and you're trying to hurry over or something. Your kids' youth football season should be over, so you shouldn't have too many things in the way for this game. And it's going to be standing room only, I'm assuming. I'm hearing ticket sales are going great. There's going to be a huge walk-up tailgate. I'm hearing SUU's playing tailgates down here.
Yeah.
Certain parts of town. Obviously, we need that. That's going to help add to this budding rivalry, Paulie. This budding rivalry. See, Max says it's a rivalry. But it's going to grow. It's got a lot of room for growth. And
it does.
And I understand that. And Paulie's not wrong on that.
Yeah.
So, Max, it's been a pleasure. This won't be our last time we hang out and talk on the radio.
Sure.
Enjoy that moment, walking, getting honored. I know you're going to have all your friends. Who's all coming down? Everybody, all the extended family?
Yeah. A lot of extended family. Some of them are going to be in Provo.
BYU
my little brother's walking for his because he's technically a senior as well.
What time is that game?
I think 10 a.m. But they're doing their senior stuff after the game. And so it's gonna be an overlap there. So it's funny. My dad's coming down to mine. My mom's staying up there with him. And so my mom's so sad she'll be able to see my last game. But yeah, because he's technically walking as well, and then he's trying to decide if he's gonna play another year or be done. And so he's doing a lot of senior stuff up there as well. So yeah, but I'll have some family down here, some great friends. So I'm excited for the day. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Max Christensen III, our guest. We've enjoyed our chats, and you'll hear from him more on the radio in the years to come. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Lots more coming up. Off and running. Hit up those phone lines. You want tickets? I got tickets. Free tickets to the game Saturday night. 435-990-9950. We'll take 2 winners right now in the timeout. We'll be right back.